This is Golf Talk Canada, Canada's only national golf talk radio and TV program. Presented by TaylorMade and the all-new Stealth Driver with a red carbon face for better energy transfer and more ball speed. Welcome to the Carbon Age. Now, here are your hosts, Mark Zecchino, Bob Weeks, and Adam Scully.
And good morning, Toronto. Good morning, Canada. Zecchino and Scully with you in studio, whether you're listening on TSN 1050 this morning, iHeartRadio, or watching us this morning on TSN 2 as we simulcast on TV after majors in the world of golf. And it was the BMW Championship, Scully, this weekend, as the top 30 are set for Eastlake and the FedEx Cup and the Tour Championship. And we are about to finally crown a champion. And you and I said it. I mean, this has just been an incredible year. But when you consider the amount of news in the world of golf that has transpired off the golf course this year, and I will go back to, is Tiger playing? Can he walk? Is he going to be in the major? What major is he going to play? What major he's not going to play? And then the birth of Liv and Liv's impact on the game and who's jumping ship. And now the recent changes, which we're going to get into on today's show, of how the PGA Tour is reacting to this. And when I say the PGA Tour reacting to this, it's mainly the players that have picked a side that are reacting to it, and what that's going to mean. When you consider all of that, plus the caliber of golf and the championships and the majors and how unbelievable the Canadian Open was this year. This year has been amazing, but it's been exhausting.
It's flown by. I mean, the Canadian Open feels
a week ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I remember where we were, on 18. We were standing very close together when
I needed security.
You needed. I should have been around you there, sort of standing. But I mean, what a year it has been, and it's hard to believe it's now the regular season. This season in general is coming to an end on the PGA Tour. We have a big event too, the CP Women's Open in Ottawa as well this week. But for us too, and for everyone involved with golf and sports media, this live stuff is not going away, given the fall schedule and given how their schedule is really ramping up after the Tour Championship after this week. So it's been a year of nonstop content, but I mean that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, it is what we're here for. It's good. I guess it's good for Golf Talk Canada.
Absolutely,
it's good for our
nonstop.
listener. Yeah, if you love golf and you love golf on TSN, including Golf Talk Canada, and whether you listen to the show weekly radio or watch us on TV weekly, or if you're that person who does both, this is good. Good for all of us,
absolutely.
I guess. Speaking of the CP Women's Open, we should mention that Weeksy, that's where he is. That's why he's not here. He's going to jump in the second hour with us, hopefully, if that works out. And we'll do a little preview of the CP Women's Open. Obviously, Lori Kane's, we believe, last CP Women's Open. Brooke Henderson, obviously, the face of this championship. We will talk a little bit of what's happening up in Ottawa. It's the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club. Also, Cody Parker.
Parker Cootie.
Sorry, Parker Cootie, excuse me. Parker Cootie, who is Charles Cootie's grandson.
Yeah.
Charles Cootie, former Masters champion. Parker Cootie going to join us. He's the most recent winner on PGA Tour Canada. He won in Manitoba on the weekend.
He won by only 8 shots.
It was ridiculous.
An 8-shot victory. And Parker's twin brother, Pearson, won on the Corn Ferry Tour earlier this year as well. So how about those family dynamics?
I've already got the two of them mixed up. I've already got it completely mixed up because I remember I was working PGA Tour Radio the week his brother won on the Corn Ferry Tour. Yes. And we're doing updates, Corn Ferry Tour updates throughout our broadcast, like a 7-hour broadcast window. So you're doing update this. And then this week I'm like, what's he doing on PGA Tour Canada? Completely making them one human.
Right. There you go.
As you get older, Adam, these things happen.
And how about that for twin brothers to have that much success, to come out of college at the same time, to both win as professionals in about a 2-3 week span? It's incredible.
I've learned this in the last week or so. Because before that, I had them the same person.
Right.
Well. I literally had them the same person. No idea. So we're going to have them on. That's great. And we'll ask them a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
Before we get to news and headlines, you mentioned the live and all the news and all the story. And, it's been very divisive. It has not been good for the game of golf, as per Norman's BS narrative. And there is some news that we have to touch on. But I will ask you this. Fast forward let's fast forward 24 months from now.
Okay.
With everything we're hearing now about some potential changes in the PGA Tour and some things coming, which we will get to, is it possible that there is a silver lining here and that the PGA Tour and the game of golf in 24 months from now, even with the current break and divisiveness that's happening, that the PGA Tour could be stronger, the game could be better, it could be more entertaining, and the fan base could grow?
You would hope so, and I mean, all these players who have gone over to live have gone because they want to be paid more
and play less.
And given everything, all the rumored the meetings that have happened and the rumors that are coming out of it in terms of what's going to come next and these limited field events and more money. That's what's coming for a lot of these players and a lot of these top players in the world. More incentive to become a top player in the world, to make more money in these smaller field events. So I guess let's see, and hopefully taking the glass half full approach, that there is some sort of silver lining coming out of this. But right now, there's still so much hostility between LIV and the PGA Tour. I mean, we played a clip from Patrick Reed last week on Golf Talk Canada television saying, oh, yeah, we could take on the PGA Tour players on the golf course. It's like, really, Patrick Reed? I mean, you played an Asian Tour event 2 weeks ago, finished tied for 31st, and actually dropped in the world ranking.
Right.
So,
well, that's one thing that nobody's talking about right now. And I'm generalizing. I'm throwing a blanket over the tour. And it's not, I guess this isn't an accurate statement for all of them. But for a large majority of them, who, especially for those that are on the downside of their career,
right.
Pat Perez, Graham McDowell, there's numerous ones. And for those of them who have never actually loved the game, Koepka, right? Never actually loved it. I don't even think DJ loved the game, to be honest with you. DJ, part of the attraction to being a LIV golfer is you no longer have to be accountable for your game. I mean, you've been paid.
Yep.
The work it takes, the grind that you see week in and week out, from PGA Tour Canada to Korn Ferry Tour to PGA Tour to DP World Tour, the amount of work and effort and accountability for your profession to stay relevant and to have a chance to win, to make cuts, to make a living, to keep going, it is exhausting. Mm-hmm. There is somebody right now on a tour that you've never heard of that can shoot 61 and is ready to take your spot.
Totally.
Okay? When you get to LIV, a lot of that's gone, right? The check's been cashed. Mm-hmm. There is no cut. There's a lot of lollygagging.
An exhibition.
To a lot of people, that's attractive, Adam. Yeah. No?
Well, for some, I mean, for these players to go over, and you think of what Henrik Stenson went through to go from being the Ryder Cup captain to saying, yeah, I'm just going to go chase the dough. And then he did chase the dough, and then he won more dough. I mean, it's
okay, but here's the thing with Henrik Stenson. It's a great point. When's the last time Henrik Stenson had the opportunity to win anything in the world of golf?
Was it the Open when 6 years ago?
Could be.
Yeah.
And he goes over there, and he wins his first event.
Totally.
So, all right, well, let's get into it. We've got lots to get to. What is where to what? 20 weeks TaylorMade comes to an end this week. Where did the summer go? Let's start with some news and headlines.
News and headlines are brought to you by Sandbagger Hard Seltzer. Sandbagger. Everybody knows one.
Well, let's just pick up the conversation there. Tuesday, huge meeting. BMW Championship, players only. Meeting, Tiger Woods flew in. He was the alpha in the room, according to Rory. Invited players only. Names like Cantley, Xander Schauffele, Cameron Young. So these names invited this meeting, and they seem to be unified on the way out. So does that mean, Adam, let's start right here. Does that mean I can take those names off the potential jump list?
I would think so, right? I mean, Cameron Smith wasn't in that meeting, and all signs are pointing towards him going to
conveniently withdrew from the BMW.
That was interesting because that happened while we were on radio on TV live last Monday during a commercial break, and we were sort of hip discomfort. I mean, walking on soft turf. Sure, but I mean, that seemed a little fishy. But to answer your question, I think all the players who were in that meeting last Tuesday are staying on the PGA.
Okay, so from that meeting, and we heard a bunch of things were on the table in that meeting. Nothing was off the table, including feelings about Jay Monahan and his handling of it. Now, I'm a huge Jay Monahan fan. Mm-hmm. I really am. There was no playbook for what went down. Ricky Fowler was open in his comments that, he thought there was mistakes made early by Jay. Also on the table is what Davis Love described 3-4 weeks ago. Do we boycott majors? Does the PGA Tour players walk away from majors if the majors still allow live players to participate? Mm-hmm. And when we say live players, we're talking about players who have past champions status or have qualified through other means. Yep. But, if they don't get official World Golf Ranking points, this is a moot point in 2 years. It's only past champions we're talking about here, right? So that was on the table. So we'll start there. And the other part of this was, before we get to the Rory Tiger venture, the possibility of, do we get the top, 50 PGA Tour players in the world back together more often again, which we were at, by the way, 2 years ago with the World Golf Championship Series, which Tiger has made a feast of over his career, and they went away for some reason, which is confusing to me as to why they left, because we were there and now we're bringing them back. So, a lot to chew on here.
A lot to chew on, and to go on the WGC tangent, if you will, like that was free money. That was guys, the top players in the world. That was an honor to play in those tournaments. You'd show up, limited field, 60, 70, 80 guys, and there'd be no cut. So for those to disappear was...
Makes no sense to me.
It really does make no sense. And now it appears there will be more of these WGC-esque sort of events, and the dollar figure, the purse, are just going to go through the absolute roof.
Why do you think they went away? There was always a knock. Well, there was always a knock. They were governed by the Federation of PGA, right, as well. So it was and the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour, similar like what we do with the Scottish Open now, right? The Genesis Scottish Open is sanctioned by both tours as a lead-in to the Open Championship, to alignment of schedules, da-da-da. The World Golf Championships were already doing that. I wonder if part of the problem was, and this has always been the knock, and this is part of the reason that Greg Norman has a bee in his bonnet, and a lot of Australians are jumping, is that the PGA Tour, if there's one knock against them, they have neglected a lot of the global market, and it's not their fault. It's the sponsors who are cutting these checks want a North American TV market. Mm-hmm. And when you go to Royal Melbourne, as amazing as it is, and as amazing as Australia is as a golf fan base and a venue and the President's Cup, when you hold something in the middle of the night, it dilutes the TV market, it dilutes the eyeballs, drives advertising down, drives rights fees down, and the PGA Tour ends up going, we can't afford this, and the sponsors don't want it. But if the World Golf Championship Series, I wonder, Adam, if they just stayed a little bit more international, a little bit more global in flair, if they would have survived more. Because all we were doing, we're having WGC events on American soil.
Yeah, and I guess to the average viewer, they just feel like regular PGA Tour events. We watched the President's Cup at Royal Melbourne. It was incredible, but it finished at 2 in the morning, Eastern time. And like you mentioned, the viewership wouldn't be there. When the WGC was held in China all those years, the same sort of thing. That'd be 4 or 5 in the morning, and no one would be watching, or not many people would be watching in North America. So that does make sense, and obviously they're going all over the map here once the Tour Championship ends in Thailand and really all over. So you wish the WGCs never did go away, and there was a way, but I do understand.
And maybe that's coming back. Maybe a form of it's coming back. Maybe they'll just revive it because there's a history to the WGCs. Yeah. It'd be easy to revive it with a refreshed update completely.
Totally.
I'll throw another one at you. RBC Canadian Open. RBC is one of the biggest sponsors on the PGA Tour. They cut a check for 2 events. They sponsor ambassadors and players. Yep. It's not U.S. soil. It's Canadian soil. Why not the RBC Canadian Open sanctioned in that way? Yeah. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right?
And you come to a tournament like the RBC Canadian Open, which has so much history. And there's so many. Obviously, we're incredibly biased saying this, but the golf courses here are remarkable. The golf fans, as the U.S. audience saw when they watched the RBC Canadian Open at St. George's, we're as passionate as they come in terms of golf. So yeah, why not?
It's not on American soil.
Yeah.
It's in an Eastern U.S. TV time zone.
Yeah.
It's got the history, the lineage back historically speaking. Check, and the sponsor involved currently is one of the biggest on the PGA.
And the players love it too.
I mean, it's a no-brainer if they go this way. Okay. It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
We're running out of time. We've got to touch on the other item that came out of this meeting. That we now know that for the past 2 years, behind closed doors, Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods have been working on what we understand single-day competitions in a stadium environment, so not green grass 18 holes, technology-based, I believe gambling-based, because they're looking for a gambling partner, series where the best players in the world play toe-to-toe one another.
Together.
And the other thing we don't know either, Adam, is was that what they were talking about of what we just talked about? Like maybe they don't want to bring those 18 event or those like maybe this was what they were talking about. So there's so much confusion in here. Or are they talking about both single day competitions? So I'm guessing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in partnership with the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And this would be something like, I don't know, Rory versus Tiger and like what? What are we talking about here? Top golf?
Yes, but is this like, all those matches we saw, Phil versus Tiger,
I don't think
Koepka
so.
versus this is when I first heard of this, that's sort of what I was thinking of. And that seemed really gimmicky, right?
I don't think it is because the line that has been reported, stadium environment, not green grass.
Yeah.
So stadium environment, is that like...
Is that long drive?
Long drive. Is it a skills competition? Is it a skills competition with live interactive gambling?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
We're supposed to potentially get more news this week out of the Tour Championship. We will see. Sense. We might not. I mean, so much to figure out. All we know is this. I mean, none of these stories are going away. We're going to take our best guesses. We're going to get our ear to the ground and we'll figure it out. But I mean, the fact that Rory and Tiger have put their face to this
is massive.
And put the guys in the room, I mean, it's a big pushback.
To have Tiger fly in.
Yeah.
That was, and before we go to break, what was it, like 100 degrees where they were, and Tiger shows up with a flannel shirt and jeans on. Like that was sort of broke Twitter in itself. I'm not sure if he was warm or cold, but I don't know.
We're running late. We got to go on the other side. We handed out the BMW Championship, the first player ever in history to defend a playoff title.
Well, that's also interesting.
And could potentially defend a FedEx Cup Championship for the first time in history. We'll do it on the other side. Patrick Cantlay gets it done. This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC was presented by TaylorMade. TaylorMade and the all-new Stealth Driver with a red carbon face for better energy transfer and more ball speed. Welcome to the Carbon Age. This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by TaylorMade. This segment of GTC is brought to you by Caddy Time, the Uber-like app that allows golfers across Canada to find affordable, qualified caddies to any round. Visit caddytime.com. Download the app or talk to your PGA professional today.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Canada. It is Zecchino, it is Scully. We were just talking off air that this is our last week of our TSN Edge season as well, coming up for the Tour Championship.
And for those who maybe haven't tuned in throughout the year, you have to tune in because Mark has 8 wins this season. Bob and I combined have 7. Mark's almost 1,000 under par for the year. Not to toot your horn a little.
Thanks,
but you've had a great year. Follow Mark's lead here, and let's see if we can get another winner this week, which will be challenging to place bets in terms of value because of the staggered start, right?
Yeah, it's weird starting. Leader starting at 10 under, second place at 8 under, and then work it down. It's awkward. It's a strange format. I know Bob likes the format. I'm still not sold on this format.
It just feels
I don't like it.
You almost, because this is the 4th year of it, you would almost need, so Scotty Scheffler's going to be starting at 10 under par.
Yes.
If he shoots 3 over, then it's anyone's ball game in round 1. But do you really see Scotty Scheffler shooting 3 under?
I find it just, I don't know. It's a weird, I understand why they like it. They want one winner Sunday night, and they want the casual golf fan to tune in and see a leaderboard that they're familiar with. But don't tell me that it wasn't exciting this week when we were watching that 30th spot with Corey Connors fighting his way in and birdieing, let's pull it up here, 3 of his last 4. Yep. He birdies, he goes bogey at 13, 14, bounce backs at 15 and 16, and a birdie at 18 to solidify his spot in the Tour Championship. I mean, So you got to think a little. You got to, I loved it. I like it. I like the old format better, Adam.
So the old format did seem kind of a little strange, and the example I always give is 2018. Tiger wins the Tour Championship, but in the group before, Justin Rose had to lag putt from 40. To two putt from 40 feet to win the FedEx Cup, and he hits this putt to 2 inches, fist pumps, and it looked kind of weird. And then even at the end, Tiger has this unbelievable moment, his comeback, he finally gets a win, but he's standing there with the trophy with Justin Rose beside him. That just still seemed kind of weird. So I wish you could do match play. I really do.
I do too. I had an idea or a thought. What if you took the top 30 and you pulled out 4 spots, 6 spots, whatever, off the top of the leaderboard? You'd have to do the math. But you pull the first few off the top of the leaderboard, and those guys get to park it for 2 days.
Oh, a bye.
They're a bye into the match play round.
Right.
And then you play like 36 holes of stroke play for the rest of the field that have qualified for the Tour Championship, that are fighting in a stroke play, 36 holes, to fighting for those last 2 spots, those last 3 spots, whatever. Now you're at Friday.
Interesting.
And now you go into the match play component of this. Where you eventually end up with one-on-one Sunday for $18 million.
That sounds pretty good.
And you don't have the other problems that other match plays have. Because when you watch the World Match Play and someone's playing for a consolation match on Sunday and no one cares, in this format, you'd have 3 or 4 matches going on Sunday, all for huge money, all for FedEx Cup. You'd have like the 5th and 6th place match playing for like $3 million. So people are still engaged in who wins that. And you have golf to go to, because from a TV component,
you need that.
You need golf because you can't watch guys walk to their golf ball, because match play is so boring if you don't have other places to go in between shots, right? That's why the Ryder Cup works, because there's matches happening all over the place. You're going here, here.
And that's why some of those matches, the Tiger Phil, didn't work, because they weren't talking to each other.
They
were
don't
huffing
talk.
and puffing.
What do you do for 3 minutes walking to your golf ball?
I think at some point when the Golf Talk Canada is running sort of the golf universe, I feel like it's a no-brainer.
Unbelievable. I agree. Well, it becomes Patrick Cantlay. We got to hear from the winner here. Patrick Cantlay, the first player ever to defend any title inside the FedEx Cup playoffs. He was the BMW Championship last year, just outside Baltimore. He does it again this year in Delaware. It's a one-shot win over Scott Stallings. He puts himself in 2nd place in the FedEx Cup standings. Why is that important? He'll start 2 shots behind Scotty Scheffler when we get to East Lake, and he will try to become the first player ever to not only defend a title in the playoffs, but to defend the FedEx Cup Championship itself. If he were able to close that gap, he'd be the first guy to do it. Let's hear from our latest winner, Patrick Cantlay.
I think every time, I've tried to defend, I don't think I've been able to do it, but it's something that you definitely circle on your calendar as something you want to do. And these golf courses, like I said earlier this week, reminded me a lot of each other. And, I was glad not to go 6 holes in the playoff today.
Because last year was against Bryson in that 6-man
play. Duel.
Scotty Scheffler won, Cantley 2. Zalatoris, let's hope he's healthy. WD on the back.
Didn't look great.
Don't know if he'll be playing at East Lake. Zalatoris currently in the 3 spot. Xander Schauffele, who loves East Lake. Former Tour champion, has done exceptionally well at East Lake. He's in the 4 spot. Sam Burns in the 5 spot. Cameron Smith, does he play? Does he play in the 6 spot? Rory McIlroy, followed by Tony Finau, Sepp Straka, Sungjae Im, John Rahm, Scott Stallings, Justin Thomas, Cameron Young, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Max Homa, Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth, Joaquin Niemann, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa. What an interesting 10 that was. Tom Hogue, Corey Connors, who fights his way in, Brian Harmon, K.H. Lee, JT Poston, Sahith Theegala, Adam Scott fights his way in, and Aaron Wise, the last spot, narrowly bumping out Shane Lowry by just a few points. Those are your top 30.
And it was a great finish. I mean, watching, having to see Adam Scott get up and down
to
after
make the playoffs.
One of the worst breaks, he was essentially baseball swinging it standing in a bunker with the ball so far above his feet. Sahith Theegala, what a year he's had, really coming out of nowhere. There's so many great storylines on the PGA Tour. There's been the golf world, like we mentioned in segment 1, has been just full of weird and bizarre and crazy storylines throughout the year, but this is what it's all about. These guys, making the Tour Championship, now getting into 3 of the 4 majors for next season, the guaranteed last place check of what, $500,000, whatever it is this upcoming week for those thinking all about money. So it's a great time in the golf world. Now I'm pumped for the Tour Championship. Still don't love the format, but once we get to Friday afternoon, it'll feel like another
once you get to Friday afternoon, you'll be settled into a golf tournament
again.
You brought up a lot of weird stuff.
Yes.
On the other side, we're going to do Winners Weird and What. Before we get to Winners Weird and What, we got to give a shout out to Taylor Penrith. Taylor Penrith finished 46. He missed the Tour Championship by 16 spots. He took 4 months off in the middle of the season with a rib injury, and then he tested positive for COVID. Taylor Penrith just could basically not finish outside the top 15 every time he pegged it up this late this summer. Well done, Taylor. Great push. If he didn't take the 4 months off, he was a lock for the Tour Championship, Adam.
He would have been a lock for the Tour Championship, finished in the top 13 in 5 of his last 6 starts. Definitely for the President's Cup team would have been on that as well. You never know. He still might be a captain
selection. I still think he might be picked.
As Bob tweeted yesterday, why not? This guy's playing some unbelievable golf right now.
We'll get into it. We will talk President's Cup an hour or two because the automatic spots have been locked in. Yeah. We'll let you know who has them. We'll let you know who has them that might not even show up. Might open up a few more spots. We'll all get into it. But on the other side, Winners Weird or What? This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC, presented by TaylorMade, was brought to you by Caddy Time, the Uber-like app that allows golfers across Canada to add affordable, qualified caddies to any round. Visit caddytime.com. Download the app or talk to your PGA professional today. This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by TaylorMade. This segment of GTC is brought to you by WeatherTech Canada, Canada's leader in automotive accessories.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Canada. Zecchino and Scully with you. Still so much to get to today. President's Cup teams, the automatic spots are locked in. Bob, we're hoping that Bob can join us in hour 2 as he's on his way to an LPGA event, our national championship, the CP Women's Open. It's happening at the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club. Kicks off Thursday, so we'll jump in with Bob there and talk a little bit about that. Also want to get Bob's opinion on what happened with the players meeting Tuesday, because, ridiculous amount of news. Lots to get to, but it is that time, Adam. Winners, Weird, and What? The tea is mine this week, sir.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
All right, I've seen a lot of people decide crazy things with rock, scissors, paper. Did you see Adam Hadwin this week?
I did. This is a great clip.
This is so cool. Adam Hadwin, we'll show this on our Golf Talk Canada TV show this week. Adam's walking off the 18th green, in scoring, da-da-da. All these kids are there trying to get Adam Hadwin's autograph and da-da-da. He's got his golf glove. He's like, who wants my golf glove? And all these kids are like, da-da-da. He goes, we're going to play rock, scissors, paper on who gets a golf glove. Right there. And of course, you always go rock. Right, Adam? You always go rock.
Now that's that. See, okay, that's up for debate. I don't think you always go rock. Actually, I had a friend who claimed he was back in university, claimed he was an Olympic-level rock, paper, scissors.
Really?
And people believed him. How many L's are in gullible? How do you believe that? I think we actually should have done rock, paper, scissors to decide who had the tee this week. That
would have made sense.
Maybe for TV.
All right.
For TV.
Maybe we'll do that. That's it. Anyway, I just thought it was super cool. Adam Hadwin having fun with the kids and rock, scissors, paper to decide who gets the golf glove. My weird this week. Did you see Saturday Rory on the putting green with the electric golf ball, the remote control golf ball?
Yeah. So what happened?
So he's standing there, and they're still putting out. This hole is not over, and Rory's standing there, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of his eye, he catches this remote control golf ball that someone from the stands has brought, and it's going zzz, 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 by the hole, around the hole, and someone in the crowd. You never got a glimpse of if they knew where it was coming from or where the person, I'm assuming it's got the antenna like the old school stuff.
I
don't know.
yeah.
For all we know now, it's on a smartphone.
Likely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've never even seen one of these things before. And Rory is looking at it like this and not amused at all.
No.
Picks up the remote control golf ball, turns around, and hurls it into the pond, and the crowd goes.
Yeah, it was quite a throw.
Nuts.
You know, if Rory wants to play baseball at some point, he's got it.
Yeah, he's got a good arm for it. There you go.
Yeah, good righty out of the pen. Yeah.
My what for this week is what a year for Tom Kim. Okay, Tom Kim. A lot of people didn't know who he was. Okay, Tom Kim at the end, December 31st, 2001. Tom Kim was 131st in the world. Okay, playing primarily everywhere else in the world but the PGA Tour, right? As we are about to close out the season, he just narrowly missed the Tour Championship. He is currently 20th in the official World Golf ranking. From 131, he is 20th. Wow. And look at this summer for Tom Kim. 23rd at the U.S. Open, 3rd at the Scottish Open, T47 at the Open Championship, T26 at the 3M Open, 7th at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He wins the Wyndham Championship. He finishes T13 at the FedEx Cup and T54 last week at the BMW Championship. He has not missed a cut since May. And in fact, if I look right now at all of his starts, 1, 2, 3, 4, out of his 13 starts on the PGA Tour, he only missed one cut.
It's impressive.
Yeah, and he got the W.
And the President's Cup now.
And now he is officially a lock, part of the international team of the President's Cup. What a year for Tom Kim.
And what a year for Tom Kim. And again, I have to give you credit here. You walked with him. You saw him at Rocket Mortgage. And then you picked him the next week at the Wyndham Championship. What does he do? He gets the W.
He finished 7th at the Rocket Mortgage. He closed with a 63. I talked to him on the Sunday night immediately after his round, and I said, hey, congratulations. You're a member of the PGA Tour now. You're going to the FedEx Cup playoffs, and you would expect, like, this huge celebration. It hadn't set in yet. But the one thing I could tell Adam as soon as I looked at him was he was upset he didn't win that golf tournament. And he's like, I should have won. I'm playing good enough to win. Why haven't I won? That was the energy I got. So I'm like, this guy is cut from a different cloth because everybody else you talk to there is thrilled they're going to the playoffs and they've got a full-time card next year. Not him. Why didn't I win? I go, let's take him next week.
But even after he won too, he the next week he was asked, have you made any big purchases yet? I don't even know how much I won. That was his response. He hadn't looked at his bank account yet.
He said Tiger never thought about the money. He never talked about the money. Right? Good for him.
Awesome.
All right, Adam, the tee is yours, sir.
348. Oh, man, that is sweet.
I got to tell you, I have to give a shout out to Michelle from the Swing Lab Performance and Therapy Center, to Jeff McDonald, who gave both of us an opportunity to go there. She's unlocked like 15 yards in my golf swing.
Because you needed it too, right?
Only because I needed it. That's right. That's right. Anyway, speaking of some good golf, my winner this week goes to Adele Sanford, playing the club championship out at Canmore Golf and Country Club. And she did something that it was done on the PGA Tour a couple of years ago by Brian Harmon, but it never really happens ever. And that is making not one, but 2 aces in one round. And not only one round, but her club championship.
I know. Only the third time she's ever played in some type of competitive environment as well. I mean, wow, she's setting the standard pretty high for herself at a young age.
I know, but 2 aces in one round? Like that's...
I don't know. Do we know what the actual mathematical odds of something like that happening are? It must be astronomical.
Well, they say that getting struck by lightning is more likely than a hole-in-one, I think.
And 2 in the same round?
And 2 in the same round. We'll do some. We'll get our research team involved, us, in the commercial break.
Yes,
and
we'll try to figure that one out.
Yeah, exactly.
All
okay.
Right.
My weird this week, for those who golf, that sometimes the tan lines aren't exactly ideal. Sometimes the tan line around here or the hand.
I've got the hand.
Or the legs, whatever.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry's caddy, he decided to take matters into his own hands, and he was walking with, I believe they were Birkenstocks. He took his shoes off. It was some sort of sandal.
Okay.
I'm
I've
very.
not seen this.
Okay, I don't know why he decided maybe go barefoot. I mean,
Always an awkward choice for a full-grown man to go barefoot in public. Men's feet are just not attractive, Adam. We need to cover these hooves up.
That's
okay?
a great point. But I mean, the Birkenstocks, I mean, the blisters, you're going to be sweating.
Yeah, it's disgusting. The whole thing's disgusting as far as I'm concerned.
To Bo Martin, Shane Lowry's caddy, what were you thinking?
So were they ghost white, too?
Oh, yeah. These were.
He looked like he had the sweat socks on?
He looks like he had the
Like a
socks
pair
on.
of tube socks? I love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
it was not a pretty sight. Let's put it that way. Okay, my what this week. This goes to a story that came out early last week after Cameron Smith had WD'd from the BMW Championship. So he was playing in the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs, and he had an errant tee shot, and his ball hit a fan's phone.
Saw this, yeah.
Broke the phone.
Smashed the phone.
Smashed the phone. So obviously panic arises for this fan thinking, oh my God, my cell phone, my life is in my hand and now it's shattered. Cameron Smith comes over, signs a glove, takes down the guy's phone number, and the guy thinks, oh, okay, maybe something will come of this. 2 days later, brand new iPhone shows up. You know, a lot's been said about Cameron Smith over the last 10 days or so, whether he goes to live, whether he doesn't go to live, whether he plays in the President's Cup, etc. But good for him for doing the right thing here. And obviously these guys make boatloads of money. They can definitely afford this. And the likelihood of hitting a fan's phone on the fly is so remarkably unlikely. But for him to do this, good for him. We saw a moment similar 3-4 years ago. Sergio Garcia hit a tee shot and it hit a woman's diamond in her ring. And there was like a 20-person search committee looking for it, and I don't think they ever found it. But good for Cameron Smith for doing it.
Yeah, by all accounts, and I've had a few one-on-ones with Cameron. I walked with him for 4 days at Kapalua when he broke the record this year. Spoke to him every day. Cameron Smith is a good guy. I mean, he's got friends out there. He is well-liked on the PGA Tour. Not everybody. Like, again, I always said, listen, personally, I have a problem with LIV, like where the money comes from. What the goal of LIV is, like sports washing, etc. It's not personally. I have a moral, ethical problem with that. That's me. That's my. Doesn't mean it has to be wrong for you. I'm just telling what's wrong with me. I would have a problem looking my wife in the face. I have gay friends. Like, I mean, I wish their human rights standards high. And I also, by the way, I understand that governments around the world do things for geopolitical reasons all the time, do things for money. Governments, I'm hoping that people are better than governments, because if we're not, we're all in trouble. Don't get me even started on the way the Western world is operating in the last several decades. It disgusts me, okay? So I could do hours on this. We won't. This is not a political show. This is a golf show. However, there are guys that are going to be good guys that say, you know what? He's Australian. He wants to bring golf to Australia. Yep. They're going to expand into the Australian market. We spoke about it early in the show. It's a neglected market. There's a bunch of Australians that are likely going to get together with a big Australian conglomerate. Okay, so he's with his countrymen. And maybe he just says, hey, I'm taking the money and I'm going. And that's fine. And if that's what he makes a choice for, that's fine. I mean, I think a lot of the bad boy narrative of LIV is because of the first crop of guys that went. Out of the first crop of people that went, and you line them up, there's not a lot of likable characters here, Adam. It was like the guy, everybody in the last decade who has had a problem with somebody else on the PGA Tour, had a problem with the media, had a problem in the press conference, had a problem with the commissioner, had a problem with it. They're there.
Yep.
They all lined up, right, as like the bad guys. They're the heels. The heels already left. The heels jumped ship. Well, that's not always the case for all 48, to your point. Cameron Smith's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, pretty good guy. And I mean, good for him, because the amount of panic that would go through someone's, especially in this day and age, if your phone's broken, there was that day, what was it, 6 weeks ago now, where there was a shortage with one of the phone companies, not going to mention their name on the air here, where I was without cell service for 24 hours, and it was the weirdest thing ever.
Yes.
So, I mean...
Scary to feel how... reliant we are.
Yes, I mean,
this,
so
right? What has happened?
But in the end, good for Cameron Smith for doing the right thing. Will we see him this week? I don't know.
We've got to go to break. On the other side, the 20 weeks stalemate. There is still a chance.
Time. Oh yeah.
We are going to give it away Wednesday.
Yep.
The grand prize. We'll get into it next. Before we go to break, though, what about, I can't believe we didn't bring this up today, Patrick Reed's lawsuit. Is this the most ridiculous thing? Suing Adele Sanford and Golf Channel for defamation of character.
For $750 million. Like, what?
I have spoken to 900 lawyers in the last week. Zero chance. This is never going to see daylight.
No.
There is nothing here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, to prove defamation in the legal sense, you need to prove that Golf Channel and Adele Sanford went to air with false information that they previously knew was false, and they have to prove that they took that false information to air in the with the intent of tearing down Patrick Reed and hurting him personally, financially. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the chain, the lane in layman's terms on how to legally prove that. What is he doing? I mean, they're when they're talking about him, they're looking at him on video, throwing sand over his shoulder.
Yeah, or putting his club behind a ball in a really thick lie so many times. Yeah, I'm with you. It was when I actually saw that. I was in a car when I was not driving. When I saw the tweet, and my friends looked at me and were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, really? $750 million?
Absolutely ridiculous."
Yeah.
Absolutely. And by the way, for the guys that are going for more money, so they can, and also to play less golf, he's one of the guys probably going to be playing Asian Tour golf, right?
He's already played Asian Tour golf,
Yeah.
and he's
Trying to keep
dropped in
going.
the world rankings.
Yes, I know. Yeah. But there you go. Can't take it anymore. All right, on the other side, we'll talk positive news, how you can win the grand prize. 20 weeks of TaylorMade comes to an end this week. This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC, presented by TaylorMade, was brought to you by WeatherTech Canada, Canada's leader in automotive accessories. This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by TaylorMade. This segment of GTC is brought to you by Play Golf Myrtle Beach. No destination in the world can match Myrtle Beach's volume of golf, quality, and value. Come discover why Myrtle Beach is the golf capital of the world.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Canada as we put a bow on Hour 1. Hour 2, we're going to have the latest winner of PGA Tour Canada, Parker Cootie, going to join us at the top of the hour. We're going to talk President's Cup. The teams are locked in. Captain selections will take place September 6th and September 7th based on international team and based on the U.S. team. Will any of these teams be affected? Likely by what we're hearing is another wave of live players jumping after the FedEx Cup because there is an event happening in Boston.
The week after.
Which is before the President's Cup, which kind of kicks off their new crop of guys, so to speak. And I guess the money, that $100 million or $100 million plus, whatever it is you're taking, is attached to you showing up in Boston. So who are those guys? There's a lot of rumors. There's now, first we heard there's 5. Now we're hearing rumors of 7. A lot of it will affect the President's Cup. 20 weeks TaylorMade comes to an end this week. Full set. We're talking driver, woods, irons, wedge, putter, bag, custom set through the bag, full TaylorMade golf gear. Plus, you and a friend, Casa de Campo. Is it 5 nights or 6 nights? Do we remember off the top? It's almost a week. Casa de Campo, you and a friend, all inclusive except for flight. But your food, your beverage, your golf cart, your accommodations. I mean, the grand prize alone is worth over $10,000. The grand prize. And let me tell you, I've been to Casa de Campo like several times.
Yeah.
It is one of the best golf experiences you can have anywhere in the world. A lot of times when you play golf in the Caribbean, you go, this is really good for the Caribbean. This is not that. This is world-class, period. In fact, if you take a look, Teeth of the Dog is now, I believe, inside the top 30 on the Golf Digest top 100 world list. It's moved inside the top 30. And the other courses there are almost as good. In fact, one could argue that the back 9 at the Die 4 course, which is the one up the hill, The back 9 might be the best 9 holes on the entire property.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. You'd love it. You got to go one day.
I feel like
You have to go. You and your dad,
this feels like an early January, Golf Talk Canada
We can do
jet,
that.
fire it up.
We could do that.
I think that sounds like a great
It
idea.
is 86 degrees and sunny every day, 12 months a year.
I like
in
that.
Dominican. It's ridiculous.
I do like the sun.
It's like they've got it programmed.
Yeah.
It's 86 and sunny with a nice
Right.
little breeze off the Caribbean. Unreal.
That sounds great.
That is the grand prize. The only way you can win. Follow TaylorMade Canada on social media, Twitter and Instagram. Do the same for Golf Talk Canada at Golf Talk Canada, Twitter and Instagram. Tag a friend. You got one last chance. The draw will happen tonight.
We are going to announce the winner Wednesday on TV. The draw will happen tomorrow night. But the winner, you will be notified on our TV special Wednesday, and then you will see a clip on social media where whoever the winner is, they will be tagged, and your life will be changed forever as the grand prize winner of 20 Weeks of Taylor.
It all happens. We did it again, and next year we got some things brewing again for 20 Weeks of TaylorMade, something very cool that we're working on, and we've actually got some really big announcements coming this winter for GTC as we are actually changing up our schedule. Next year is going to be our biggest year ever. We will let you know that as we get closer into November, Christmas. We're just finalizing some things and whatnot. So, but I can't believe 20 Weeks TaylorMade coming to another end. I'm curious to see, Scully, we only got a couple of minutes left and then we're going to take a break and kick off hour 2. I'm curious to see where TaylorMade goes with carbon.
Me too.
Yeah. Because do you remember when Twist Face first came out?
Yep.
And it took a year to get it into fairway metals.
That's right.
Twist Face was only available in the driver, and then you had to wait to the second generation of Twist Face to get it in the fairway metals.
That's right.
And this year we had Stealth as a carbon as the future, and we had it in driver, right? But it's not in fairway metals, right? It's Stealth.
That's right.
Those are titanium heads.
Right.
And my guess is, I don't know a thing. And if Nick's listening right now, and David and the assist, and they're listening right now, they're like, I'm betting you right now, when we see, I haven't seen anything, I'm just throwing darts at the wall. My guess is they have been figuring out a way to get carbon into the fairway metals.
Yeah,
I think that's coming,
right.
which is a lighter material, which would allow them to put a heavier plate in the bottom, which gets heavier every year with their technology. But if they can get more carbon into the fairway metal, they can get more weight into that sole plate, which means if you're hitting a 13-degree 3-wood, spoon, whatever you want to call it, and you give me an extra 20 grams in the sole plate, that 13-degree is now launching like a 15, 16-degree, even more so. It's carrying an extra 10 yards. It's flying higher with less spin. Wow. And now your fairway woods are easier to hit, higher to launch, and going further. That's my guess on what we're going to see.
If that's not a sales pitch, I don't really know what
it is. And I have spoken to nobody, and that's what I think is coming.
Wow.
That is what I believe.
And if that comes, we'll have to play this clip, do a little flashback.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me. That's the path that's going to be taken. Okay. That's my guess. All right, on the other side, we'll talk to Parker Cootie about the path that he's taken. And what golf course was he playing? Because that's what I want to know. Because he was playing his own golf tournament in Manitoba this week on PGA Tour Canada. We'll speak to him next. This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC, presented by TaylorMade, was brought to you by Play Golf Myrtle Beach. No destination in the world can match Myrtle Beach's volume of golf, quality, and value. Come discover why Myrtle Beach is the golf capital of the world. Thank you for listening to Hour 1 of GTC. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Golf Talk Canada. For show archives, podcasts, and all things GTC, visit golftalkcanada.com. And don't miss Golf Talk Canada Television weekly on the TSN Television Network. This is Hour 2 of Golf Talk Canada, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management. For over 15 years, our focus has been on helping Canadians stay invested in all market conditions, including this one. Now, here are your hosts, Mark Zecchino, Bob Weeks, and Adam Scully.
And welcome back to Hour 2 of Golf Talk Canada, whether you are listening on TSN 1050, iHeartRadio, watching us as Mondays after majors, and of course we're in the middle of the playoffs, so we did it after the RBC Canadian Open, we did it after all 4 majors, we did it after the Players Championship, and we do it throughout the FedEx Cup playoffs. You can watch Golf Talk Canada Radio on Mondays on TSN2. And I give a shout out to Lawrence Applebaum, CEO of Golf Canada, who's listening to us this morning on TSN 1050 on his way to the CP Women's Open in Ottawa. So shout out to LA. Weeksy is there, LA, so he is on the ground covering it for Golf Talk Canada and TSN. And Bob's going to join us a little later on in this hour as we will talk a little CP Women's Open. Next year, CP Women's Open is in Shaughnessy, out of British Columbia. And I'm thinking we need to talk to the powers that be.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Golf Talk Canada on location all 5 days.
I think we have to be there.
At the CP Women's Open, as we did for the RBC Canadian Open, and I think the plan to do again next year. So we gotta start getting that going. We gotta add that to the schedule as we're building it out for a big 2023.
Already, and it's August whatever day it is today.
Yes. So anyway, LA, have a great week, have a great championship. I hope you get great weather. And we know that those Ottawa fans, when it comes to Brooke, that is a home game. If you want to talk about a home game, that's going to be just absolutely awesome. Okay, we got to switch gears a little now because last week, PGA Tour Canada, as there's only a couple of weeks left before we crown a champion on PGA Tour Canada. They were in Manitoba for the Manitoba Open last week, and Parker Cootie basically was playing a different golf tournament. And as we do on Mondays, the winner from PGA Tour Canada joins us here on Golf Talk Canada. Parker, thanks so much for taking the time to do this with Adam and I. 65, 62, 67, 67. You win this golf tournament by 8 shots. What golf course were you playing, Parker?
I don't know. I think the same course, but no, it felt a little different. It was a good week.
Good for you, man. And, the 8-shot victory. But you got to play 36 holes on Sunday to cap off the win, as Mark mentioned, rounds of 67, 67 in your third and final rounds. What was that marathon Sunday like for you?
Yeah, it was a long day. It felt like a USAM qualifier or some of the college events I've played in the past. It's just like you said, a marathon day that it doesn't feel like it's going to end. You're out there 13, 14 hours that day, and it's just a long day that won't stop.
What happened on Thursday night, Parker? You started off, we'll call it for lack of a better term, you were kind of, I don't want to say, you certainly weren't sluggish. You played 4 amazing rounds of golf to get the 27th bar. You open up with 65, which is great, then 62. What happened though on Thursday? Because would you say coming into this event, like, did you anticipate this coming? Because is this night also your first top 10 of the year as well? So what clicked for you this week, or what did it for you that changed the outcome of this event for all of a sudden you to do like a complete walk-off victory?
Yeah, I played pretty poorly to start the season now. Missed a few cuts, and I had a great week at home with my coach and family and friends. This is a really good week. Got a couple things figured out, and I guess was able to bring it here and translate it into playing some pretty good golf. But, on Thursday, I was ready to go because I played great in practice rounds, and I just want to get going. And then Thursday, just got hit with unbelievable amount of rain at one time. Just having to wait around. Friday afternoon, so it was a long time to keep off, but it ended up working out. Obviously, it just
I think we're going to try to get Parker back on the line here. Looks like we have a bit of a connection issue here. But Mark, what a win to win by 8 shots and to do it the way he did. Also a member of Team TaylorMade, too. And to win by 8 shots, I believe that also matches the largest margin of victory in PGA Tour Canada history.
Yeah.
At,
Yes,
at,
it does.
at 8 shots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. And when we get him back on the line, we'll discuss his family dynamic and family ties.
That's what I was curious about because, obviously it's different for each family. Like, there's a lot of famous families in sports, like Serena and Venus Williams, right? Like in tennis and whatnot. So I'm curious where you have a brother and a famous family. I'm curious, what the dynamic is. Is it competition? Is it support? Is it both? Which I'm guessing it is.
Yeah.
How do you know when to hit the gears? How often do you talk about what you're going through?
Right.
How similar are your golf thoughts and your swing thoughts? Because as we know, there are so many ways of getting this done,
Totally.
right? I mean, you how often have you found yourself working on the same things? Like,
Yeah.
to me, I find it so interesting because very, very rarely in the world of golf anyway, I mean, do you find brothers trying to kind of get it done at the same time? Like, it's a pretty remarkable story, really.
It totally is, and I believe we now have Parker back on the line. And Parker, we were just talking about you and your brother Pearson, your twin brother. Earlier this summer, he wins for the first time on the Corn Ferry Tour. You win for the first time as a pro on PGA Tour Canada. Describe your family dynamics. How close are you guys, and how much have you guys pushed each other throughout your careers?
Yeah, we're really close, and to have him do what he's done so far has been really, it's really pushed me, and he had a really good college career, which that also pushed me. I think we both just keep pushing each other, and he's a step ahead right now on the Corn Ferry, but, the goal is to get on the PGA Tour with him as fast as possible. He has a great chance in the next couple of weeks to do that, and pretty confident he'll do so.
Well, Parker, you're pretty close to the top 7. Now moving up 83 spots to the 7th spot. We got a couple of weeks left for you to get inside that top 5, which is certainly going to help clear your path. There's a few ways of getting Corn Ferry, and then, as you pointed out, get to the PGA Tour as soon as possible. So good luck the rest of the way. I'm curious, how similar do you as brothers swing the golf club? And how similar are your thoughts? You said you had a great week at home with your coach leading into this big win that you just had. And I'm just curious, from a technical position, having two brothers that play, at this elite level at the same time, chasing the same thing. Do you have similar thoughts about the golf swing and similar thoughts about what you work on or whatnot? Or do you swing it completely different? I was just very curious to that.
Our swings are kind of similar, but when you slow them down on video, they don't look like identical by any means. So I definitely think that we agree on a lot of things on the swing. We have the same swing coach, and our dad taught us a lot in the swing. So definitely have a lot of stuff we agree upon, but I don't think our swings look necessarily really close, if that makes sense. I know it's kind of tough, but we definitely talk about what we do and all that stuff.
Well, Parker, have a great last few weeks. We got a couple of weeks to nudge up a couple of spots, get in that top 5, keep her going, and who knows, maybe another winner's circle for you. So congratulations on the win, and thanks for taking the time to do this with Adam and I.
Of course. Thank y'all.
There he is, folks. Parker Cootie, latest winner, historic win, really, on PGA Tour Canada. Just really blowing the field away, winning by 8. It's a walk-off, and that's why I asked him right out of the gates, what course were you playing, what tournament you playing? Because you take him off this leaderboard, and it's bunched up 19, 18. It's a one-shot win here or there, and he just ran them right over.
And he made the good point, too, playing 36 holes on Sunday due to the weather and going from those past experiences of USAM qualifiers, that sort of thing, because a lot of these players are familiar with playing 36 holes. They're familiar with having to conserve energy when you need to, or really know when to push the pedal down, and when to eat, when to hydrate, that sort of thing. So congratulations, matching the largest margin of victory, Parker Cootie, an 8-shot victory. So impressive. Now 7th in the Fortinet Cup standings, like you mentioned, Mark, with a couple weeks to go. All
right, on the other side, the top 8 are locked in for the international team. As of now, we'll explain what that means. The top 6 are locked in for the U.S. team. The picks go 6, September 6th for the international, September 7th for Team USA. We'll take a look at who the automatics are, where the picks could go, and how these teams could change by the time we get to the last week of September. Quail Hollow, typical or for a regular host of the Wells Fargo, which moved to Washington this year to make way for the President's Cup. Also, Quail Hollow, a venue that has hosted PGA Championship. It's one of the best venues on the PGA Tour. It's an incredible golf club. It's going to be a spicy President's Cup, but we lose a couple of big names. How competitive is this going to be, Adam? We'll get into it on the other side. This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC was presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management. For over 15 years, our focus has been on helping Canadians stay invested in all market conditions, including this one. This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management. This segment of GTC is brought to you by the Muskoka Bay Club and Resort. Live, stay, and play.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Canada. Zecchino Scully. Let's take a look at the President's Cup standings because it is official. These players are on their way to the President's Cup. Let's look at the international team here first. They have 8 automatic positions, and then Trevor Immelman on September the 6th will make 4 captains' picks. That's as of now. Although I guess in a way you only have 4 captains' picks. We'll clarify here momentarily. Hideki Matsuyama, Cameron Smith, Sungjae Im, Joaquin Niemann, Tom Kim, Corey Connors, Mito Pereira, Adam Scott. Those are the 8 automatics for the international team. Now, here is the issue, Adam. Cameron Smith, rumored to be leaving for Live Golf after the FedEx Cup final this week. Hideki Matsuyama, rumored to be leaving for Live Golf. Adam Scott, now name being floated around. There is a possibility that 3 players on the international team out of the 8 that have qualified are not going. So if that's the case, your next 3 automatics are KH Lee, Eric Van Rooyen, and Sebastian Munoz become automatics on the international team. Now, there's still 4 captains' picks available. Who do you say is next in line in terms of captains' picks? Well, Adam Hadwin is 12th. Ryan Fox, 13th. Mackenzie Hughes, 14th. Arnaban Lahiri, 15th. Christian Bezaidin Hoot, 16th. Mark Leishman, 17th. And Taylor Pendrith, I would suggest you playing the best out of all these players right now. Missed the 4 months on a layoff, sitting there at 18th. Who would you pick if you were Trevor Immelman? And how many holes do you think he's going to need to fill here?
Well, it is interesting because you mentioned the guys who are rumored to go to Live, who have qualified already. And then there's also other guys who are now rumored to go, including Mark Leishman, who's been an International President's Cup stalwart, Anirban Lahiri, who has played in the President's Cup before back in 2017. He would have been, he still might be, but would have been a pick as he finished second at the Players' Championship. I know that was a number of months ago, but still a very strong finish. So of those players, this is where it gets so wide open. I mean, you look at, and I know we're biased here. I know we're Canadian, but Adam Hadwin has played in the last 2 President's Cups. You probably want some experience on that team, given the amount of rookies that are already there. Mito Pereira, Tom Kim.
Let me pose a question to you. Assuming at least 2 players that have already qualified are gone, likely 3, moving up a lot of bodies on this list automatically. Considering that the President's Cup, the next time the international team hosts it, is 2024 at Royal Montreal. Mike Weir's going to captain that team. There's a chance Stephen Ames is an assistant captain on that team. Could we potentially see 4 Canadians on this international team at Wells Fargo, considering how this could be diluted, considering how well of a putter Mackenzie Hughes is and how important that is to match play, and considering that Taylor Pendrith is the hottest player of all these, hands down without question?
I mean, it's possible. Certainly, I would say 2 is not a lock, but 2 is...
I think 2 is a lock.
Okay.
2 is a lock. The question now is it 3 or 4?
I mean, how good would that be for us? I mean, yeah, if 2 is a lock, I would say 4 is still pushing it. I would say that. But I mean, the golf fan in us, and I mean, you look at the stats, and Taylor Pendrith, like you mentioned, he's 18th right now in the standings, but he's played the best golf of anyone, arguably, on that team, aside from Tom Kim as of late, right?
I think this comes down to Adam Scott and Arnaud Lahiri. Let's just assume. For sake of argument, let's assume Cameron Smith, Hideki Matsuyama, and Mark Leishman are gone. They're gone to live. Those three are gone. Mm-hmm. If Adam Scott and Arnaud Lahiri are the two other names out of the 5 to 7 expected to jump, if those are two of the names, I think we have 4 Canadians on this team. And the reason I say that is, who are you going to put on this team other than Hughes and Penrith? I'm sorry to say, but this could... and they're playing against a U.S. team that is a similar U.S. team that completely ran over the Euros.
Totally.
Completely ran them over the Ryder Cup and are likely going to run over this President's Cup team.
And for an international side who had momentum after the last one in 2019 at Royal Melbourne, where they were leading going into the singles matches. And even look down this list. Jason Day is 31st right now. I mean, his game has fallen off a cliff, unfortunately. He had, I believe, 1 or 2 top 10s this year.
Is he healthy enough to compete? You don't even know if he can go out there.
Exactly. And for all those years, he was a guy you'd want on that team. Siwoo Kim, perhaps, at number 20. He's had a very solid year. Lucas Herbert's been off and on. Christian Bezuidenhout as well. But other than that,
I mean, you are losing your 2 monster horses,
totally.
1 and 2. And it's not 1 and 2 by a nose. It's 1 and 2 by a landslide. The 2 monsters on this team are Smith and Hideki.
Yeah.
Now, who do you play against? Well, this is Team USA. Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Justin Thomas, and Tony Finau are your 6 automatic. By the way, that's 4, 6, 8, 11, 12, 14 PGA Tour victories in the first 6 automatic picks on this team. I mean, okay? I mean, then you go, Captain Love gets 6 picks.
Yep.
U.S. teams structured differently. But here are just the next 6. I mean, if I'm Davis Love, unless you want to put Tiger Woods on this team, you don't need him.
No.
Like Tiger, but if you want to say, I'm putting him out here, he's going to play once. He's going to go lollygag it in singles or what. I mean,
Ravens,
Tiger Woods' presence on this team, just as a pro PGA Tour guy, who knows?
Wow.
I've heard that rumor on the ground the last 3 weeks that Tiger Woods is going to be named as a participant on this team. I've heard it.
Imagine that.
I've heard it. Now, let's just assume you go the next 6 in line. You couldn't argue with the next 6.
No.
Zalatoris, Spieth, Morikawa, Max Homa, Billy Horschel, Cameron Young. Those are the next 6. In fact, I would suggest to you, Adam, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I would suggest to you that if Tiger Woods is not added to the team, then I believe Davis Love is going to do exactly what I just said, the next 6.
Oh, I mean, and it does fall off a little bit. I mean, Tom Hoagie has a win earlier this year, as does JT Poston. Kevin Kisner is a great match play player as well. But other than that, I mean, there are obviously, this will look like a very different team than that U.S. Ryder Cup team, given,
well, no DJ.
No DJ, no Koepka, no Bryson, no Phil for all those years, too, right? So it's a much younger team.
Yep.
This is the future, and this is the now of U.S. team golf, and this is a dominating young crop of players who I would say, I mean, back in 2017, that U.S. team almost won it on the Saturday. They almost clinched the cup on the Saturday with guys like Charlie Hoffman, guys like Kevin Chappell, who we haven't seen anywhere near team events since. But this is a young crop of players who are in their primes right now. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if these 12 guys again are on the Ryder Cup team as well next year.
I'm saying, well, I mean, I hate to say it, but okay, if Will Zalatoris versus Dustin Johnson right now, who you taking?
Zalatoris.
Will Zalatoris against Brooks Koepka right now.
Zalatoris.
The Shambo.
Zalatoris.
Okay. Cameron Young, who's the last spot on this team, 12. Who you taking? Cameron Young or Dustin Johnson?
Young, 100%. Yeah.
You and I are seeing this exactly the same way. So yes, you lost some big name recognition. yes, you lost major champions. Yes, you lost guys that were part of a huge team. But right now, at this current moment in time, with the way this has gone and how, this game's getting younger, it seems, every year, I would take these kids over those guys.
Totally. Yeah.
So we will see. Do you think he just goes the next 6?
I'm trying to think. Other than, if he does pick Tiger, that would be remarkable. But I would say he sort of has to go the next 6, unless one of those players changes their mind and goes to live,
right?
Which I don't really see.
All those
happening.
names were in the room, by the way.
And
the room being the player meeting.
And there were those rumors for about a hot second about Cameron Young going, but it doesn't appear that would be the case.
And his management team came out a couple days later and said, whoa.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are you guys talking
Pump
about?
the brakes here. So he sort of has to go the next 6. And it's an easy job, I guess, right? To pick the next 6.
Yeah. The hardest job here is if they add Woods to this team in I don't want to use the term ceremonial capacity, but he is the face of the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
He has put his flag in the ground with the PGA Tour. Considering the state of the universe right now of Live versus PGA Tour and how this is going to continue to play out, his presence there, from just a TV standpoint, of what the ratings would do.
You go through the roof.
I'm going to tell you right now, if the U.S. is winning by 10 points and this thing's over and Tiger's going to play singles on Sunday, guess what's going to happen to a TV audience? Yeah. All of a sudden, on a Sunday where everybody else is going to be watching the NFL.
Yeah, true.
All of a sudden, millions of people are going to flip the dial for 2 hours just to watch Tiger. For a couple of holes in the President's Cup.
You're right.
That's how it works.
Right.
It's how it works.
Yep.
And meanwhile, everybody else is going to be going. Everybody else is going to be going. Why are my Niners still don't have a quarterback? Right?
That's for another day.
Is Trey getting the ball at 100%? Like, this is what the rest of us are going to be doing, right? But if Tiger,
it's pretty. You know what? I haven't, and you know me, someone who makes some bold Tiger predictions. That wasn't even anywhere.
I know.
Near.
I wasn't on my radar either until I was on the ground in Memphis and heard too many people talking about it.
Interesting.
So
interesting.
On the other side, we will get Bob Weeks' take on this. We'll get Bob Weeks' take on the players-only meeting and what came out of the BMW Championship, and we will preview our Ladies National Championship this week. Ottawa Hunt. I hear great things about the golf course, too, by the way. And what kind of home game this is for Brooke, because, she's always got tons of support everywhere she goes in this country. And she's a big fan favorite outside of this country. But this is her backyard. It's going to be special. We'll talk about it on the other side with Bob Weeks. This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management, was brought to you by the Muskoka Bay Club and Resort. Live, stay, and play. This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management. This segment of GTC is brought to you by Cadillac. Experience the iconic Cadillac sedans and SUVs in a personalized live video tour with all your questions answered in real time. Book your tour at Cadillac.live.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Canada. Zecchino and Scully. Unfortunately, we have not been able to connect with Bob yet. His flight might be... What a shock. A flight in Canada might be delayed and not arriving on time. Don't get me started there. All right, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to connect with Bob by the looks of it, but the CP Women's Open is happening on the LPGA Tour on Canadian soil. Our national championship for our women. And Brooke Henderson, obviously, she's the face of this. She's been the face of this tournament for many years now. Like, you remember being on the ground up at Magna, Adam, and just, she's the poster girl. And it's a lot of pressure. And she's been able to do something that the men have not been able to do for 70 years, which is, win our national championship on our own soil. She handled it fine. She's now a two-time major champion. She's played exceptionally well in this latest stretch since the win. And leading into that win, we kind of all felt it coming.
Right.
I'm going to be honest with you. It would not surprise me to see her do it again. I'm being bluntly honest, and I know we're homers, and I know we're fans, and we sure want to see it. And beating 140 whatever of the best players in the world and in a stacked field is a hard thing to do. I get it. And this is a home game for her. She's born and raised just down the road. This is truly as close as she's going to get to her own backyard doing this. I don't think it phases her. I think she's got that Michael Jordan thing where it's like, if there's one shot left and there's no time on the clock and someone on this floor has to take it, I want that shot. It doesn't seem to bother her. And that's, it's not necessarily a comment on her skill level and her ability, because all these players at the CP Women's Open are the best in the world. It's a comment on how good she is between the ears and how tough she is at still such a young age that I think she has no problem with the weight of this.
It totally is. And, you know, like you mentioned, she won this tournament back in 2018, where that was one of the great victories we've seen in Canadian golf history, winning on home soil. And then you think of the year that she has had, too. Not only the 2 victories, but to make the cut in all 5 majors. And not only that, but her worst finish in the majors was a tie for 16th. So she was consistent throughout the major season, and including her tie for 7th in her last start at the AIG Women's Open. And it's also been a bit of a wild year for her, too. Remember at the start of the year, a lot of the talk was about the driver length. And how
it never meant anything, apparently.
Never meant anything for her. Right. And then you think of her putter.
New golf ball.
New golf ball, which is obviously helped her very well.
Obviously a big help, yeah.
But her putter has always been sort of the make or break. And I think the combination of having the flag stick in and this new left-hand low grip has totally changed the way she putts and the way she can putt aggressively, because we know she is such an aggressive player from tee to green, and that's why she's one of the best players on the LPGA Tour. But now that she can putt aggressively, whenever she has a good week on the greens, she's just flat out going to be in the mix.
You mentioned flag stick in. Not to get completely sidetracked here, but she does putt a lot with the stick in. Adam Scott putts a lot with it. There are still players on major tours putting with the stick in. Fitzpatrick. Did you see the article? I think it was Golf Digest this week.
I saw a headline. I actually did not read it, but I believe there's a lot of science behind how it should not be in.
99.9% of putts after this major deep dive by, putting gurus like our friend Ralph Bauer, that have crunched numbers, broken down statistically putts from all different angles, 99.9% of putts are helped by the stick out and hurt by the stick in. The one scenario that they figured out that with the flag stick in that it helps is bizarre. It's like putts outside 25 feet. I'm going to get this wrong. Putts outside 25 feet, traveling with X amount of additional feet of speed, like you've hit it too hard, basically. Putts outside 25 feet that are hit too hard, that hit the stick on a direct...
on the
nose. That particular scenario is they benefit from the flag. Everything else is hurt by the flag, according to this major deep dive study.
That is interesting because, here playing local golf in the GTA last season previous with COVID, we had the pin caddies, and you would have times where you would hit putts where they would just flat out hit the nose and they would bounce out.
100%.
And then I remember all the talk that we had spoken about with the new rule changing was, it's going to speed up play. And then it's like, is it really going to speed up play? And then for lag putts, you can just leave it in. But now, like you mentioned, there's only at top of Fitzpatrick, Adam Scott, Brooke Henderson. I'm trying to think of any other players who.
So I understand, though, at the same time, putting is very visual, and you need to have confidence. And mental, right? You have to have confidence. So I understand that we are talking about fractions of a percent is what we're talking about here. We're not talking, hey, if you leave the flag in, you're going to make 30% of these, and if you take it out, you're going to make 70% of it. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like the smallest fractions crunched over all these things. Right. So for the players that want to putt with it in, just the visual probably gives them the confidence, something to aim at. That. So what they're getting from it in terms of a positivity through their lens, how the optics help, is helping them immensely. That's why they're doing it, right? Yeah. I don't know. The guys you play with, are they in or out?
Oh, we're out all the time.
Same here. Same here.
But even, there are some, if you're paired with someone, sometimes they like it in.
My dad don't care. He wants it in.
Yeah.
He thinks it helps him. I could give him all the data in the world. But he's going to want it in. I think also he doesn't want to deal with it. Yeah, I'll leave it in. And if him and I are just out lollygagging it, I'll leave it in because I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing for real,
Right.
like I actually care about the score, which is rare.
I mean,
I very rarely care.
you did post a number last week, but that's
Well, I'm playing with Hammer. I gotta. When I'm playing with, everybody's got those buddies, those guys. You playing for real now, right? That's different. It's gonna come out. But you're right. I still play with a lot of guys that don't care about the math. They just leave it in. They want it in.
which is it is interesting. It really is.
We got to go to break. On the other side, we're going to get you caught up on all the leaderboards in the world of golf. However, we should mention, and we were going to do this off the top of today's show in news and headlines, but of course we got lived. That's what we're going to call that. We're going to turn it into into an adjective. We're being lived. I'm lived, right? We basically killed the entire segment on it. Tom Weisskopf. The world lost a golf legend, Tom Weisskopf. And I was very surprised to find out that Weisskopf was not a Hall of Fame member. And I understand why, because statistically speaking, I don't know. Like, it's like right on the line for me, but he had 16 PGA Tour victories, including a major. And he did it when Jack was in his prime. And he was famous for the quote, Jack knew he was going to beat you. You knew Jack was going to beat you. And you knew that Jack knew that you knew that Jack was going to beat you. Something along those lines. He was famous for that quote, right? And so he compiled these wins during Jack's prime. And since then, arguably, Jack Nicklaus, Tom Weisskopf, Arnold Palmer, Ben Crenshaw, the four players, I guess Gary Player you could throw in there too. Talking about players that had huge golf course architect careers after, and he influenced a lot of the way the modern designers and the way majors are set up today. Tom Weisskopf, big fan of the risk reward par 5, big fan of the drivable par 4, all of this stadium-like short par 3s, all of this on full display at TPC Scottsdale, for where we play the Waste Management Phoenix Open every year. Got the Coliseum hole 16. You got the Risk Reward Island Green par 5 15 before it. You got the drivable par 4 17th. 1, 2, 3. One of the really golf's great stadiums. Yeah. He's really been like a major influence in the way modern golf's designed. And now how major championships are set up. When's the last time the USGA didn't say we want a drivable par 4 or the PGA Championship? And a lot of it goes back to the nod to Weisskopf, and sad that he lost his battle with cancer at age 79, and not a Hall of Fame member, Adam. So maybe I don't know. Maybe he still gets in builders category. I don't know, but certainly a legendary name.
A very legendary name, and like you mentioned, 2-year battle with pancreatic cancer. But he worked on about 80 golf courses throughout his time as an architect too. And like you mentioned, a big impact in the game of golf. And the Golf Hall of Fame is interesting, isn't it? Given how a lot of players get in, or some players get in while still playing. You think Tiger Woods. You think Phil Mickelson. These guys are already. Or Phil was in the Hall of Fame years ago already, which is still. I mean, you think of some of your hockey or your baseball.
Your career's over before you go.
It's more. It's a celebration of your career most of the time. So, very sad to see Tom Weisskopf go, and we'll see if he gets in.
A bit of a controversial figure at times as well, right? He skipped the Ryder Cup once to go. I think to go fishing or something like that. Off the top of my head. Like literally, like so. And he was open with opinion and not shy of a microphone to give an opinion and make a statement, but man, he contributed a lot to the game of golf and to the world of golf. So our condolences to the Weisskopf family. It is a loss for the golf world. On the other side, lots of leaderboards get caught up on in the world of golf, including FedEx Cup standings, including what happened in the BMW Championship. We will do it next. This is Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management, was brought to you by Cadillac. Cadillac. Experience the iconic Cadillac sedans and SUVs in a personalized live video tour with all your questions answered in real time. Book your tour at Cadillac.live. This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management. This segment of GTC is brought to you by Adidas Golf and the all-new Tour 360 22. Tour 360 22 sits on the feet you wear last, serving as the foundation for the all-new Tour 360 fit, while the new direct-injected Spike-More traction system will help golfers stay locked in.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Canada. As we put a bow on today's show, let's get you caught up with leaderboards. There was a lot of action in the world of golf. Leaderboard updates brought to you by Bushnell Golf, bushnellgolf.com, the leader in rangefinders and rangefinder accessories in the world of golf. Our friends at Bushnell. I had the Wingman out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It's cool. Have you ever used the?
I've never actually used it while playing. I've seen you. I've seen it, and we've chirped each other on it. But I've never actually used it for myself.
It is cool. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like having a caddy almost in a way.
Okay.
You press the button, it gives you, and of course you play your tunes on it and stuff as well.
Always.
What happened on the Corn Ferry Tour, Scully?
Yeah, Corn Ferry Tour. Will Gordon gets it done in a three-way playoff over MJ Dafu and Philip Knowles. He was 21 under for 3 rounds. Very well done. Canadian Roger Sloan, T32 finish. For Mr. Sloan. Michael Gligic was T65. On PGA Tour Champions, another Canadian was in the mix. Mike Weir had the lead after 2 rounds, but he finished tied for second. Padraig Harrington with the victory. Another win for Padraig Harrington. Have you seen the speed? This
178.
Yeah. Like
miles per hour. It's ridiculous.
His ball speed is way more than PGA Tour average.
Yes.
His pace of play is also really improved. He's playing a lot faster, I have found anyway. So congratulations to Padraig Harrington at the Dick's Sporting Good Open. Mike Weir, another good finish.
Maximilian Kiefer gets it done at the Czech Masters. That's the DP World Tour. That is a one-shot win over Gavin Green. That was shortened to 54 holes due to weather on the DP World Tour. And on the USGA, we should mention Sam Bennett is your 122nd U.S. Amateur Champion. That happened in Jersey at Ridgewood Country Club. They'll head to Denver next year for the U.S. Open, just outside Denver at Cherry Hills. We had Parker Cootie from PGA Tour Canada on earlier, an 8-shot win over Ian Holt. Parker Cootie, 65, 62, 67, 67, now vaulting to 7th on the points list. A few weeks left on PGA Tour Canada as they try to get into the all-important top 5. BMW Championship. Patrick Cantlay, a one-shot win over Scott Stallings. Cantlay moves into second in the FedEx Cup standings. He'll start at 8 under par, 2 shots behind Scotty Scheffler as we head to East Lake for the Tour Championship. Patrick Cantlay becoming the first player ever in FedEx Cup playoff history to defend their title. Back-to-back BMW Championships, and will try to become the first player ever in playoff history to defend the FedEx Cup this week at the Tour Championship. Congratulations, Corey Connors. Birdies 3 of his last 4 holes to solidify his spot in the field at East Lake. Taylor Pendrith, another good performance. Tied for 8th, another top 10, just narrowly misses. Adam, let's give you your FedEx Cup top 10 as we get ready for East Lake. Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Will Zalatoris, Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Cameron Smith, Rory McIlroy, Tony Finau, Sepp Straka, and Sungjae Im are your top 10. Question marks on Cameron Smith and Will Zalatoris as they both... Cameron Smith never started the BMW, and Zalatoris withdrew on Thursday with a back issue.
He sure did, and it's been a busy time for those in the golf world. Mark, I know you haven't played a lot of golf, you personally, but you take 4 weeks off, you go out, you go to Summit, you shoot 67. That's fine.
Well, I got back from Ireland, which was awesome. We have an Ireland travel special, TV special coming up in a few weeks.
That's right.
As Golf Talk Canada is going to stay with you on TV and radio right through to the President's Cup. I believe there's 1 week off in there. We have a Tourism Ireland travel special. So I played 8 rounds of golf in Ireland, which was ton, right?
Yep.
I can't tell you last time I played 8 days in a row. It was unbelievable. And the weather was spectacular. And the golf courses are second to none. Like, second to none. Unbelievable. But since I got home from Ireland, it's been head down work. As you know, I was on the road for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Right. I've played 2 rounds since I got back from Ireland. I played 1 round at Oakland Hills in Detroit.
Pretty good spot.
The Wednesday before the Rocket Mortgage.
Yep.
And was a couple over par and found it very difficult. Tee to green, pretty forgiving. obviously, for a major championship, they're going to grow up the rough and whatnot. You got to avoid the bunkers. They're huge. But the greens were brutal. The green complexes at Oakland Hills are some of the hardest I've ever put in my life. And a couple sloppy bogeys. And I haven't played for over 3 weeks. And I was able to play this week for the first time up at one of my absolute favorite golf courses in the country.
Yep.
Summit Golf and Country Club, just north of the city. I mean, I love Summit. I grew up playing a lot of junior golf there. Doug Carrick has done a magnificent job in the restoration program up there. And just, it is literally one of my absolute favorites. And I went up there with one of my buddies, Dave Hempstead, Hammers, won like 1,000 club championships up at Summit. And we had a great day. We played golf and I had a good day. I shot 67.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love that.
So, sometimes there's overplay. I've started my training again with my stack system. I haven't been able to do it since for a month and a half.
That's right.
I didn't travel with them. And it took about 3 or 4 days to get the numbers start to get back up. I'm almost back to where I was when I left. So now I'm looking in 2 weeks from now, projecting, getting faster. How about you? You playing any golf?
I played some golf last week. Have to give a quick shout out to Taylor from Deerhurst Resort, the Highlands course there out in Huntsville. Got to play there. Love the variety of that golf course. We had a beautiful day there. It was also a major championship at Bayview last week. The Pizza Open.
Yes.
We had this matching outfits. My partner Gavin and I, we had the same gear on, the Team Canada Adidas gear from last year. Had to repeat. We came third last year, came fourth this year. Didn't quite get it done, but he played UBC golf. He's a good player.
Nice.
But fourth place, played 4 times last week. It was a great day.
Well, I hope you get out this week. I'll see you for TV this week. This Wednesday, we're back, 1 o'clock Eastern Time on TSN. Golf Talk Canada special. We'll talk CP Women's Open. We will also do our final TSN Edge picks of the season as we preview the Tour Championship and finale of the FedEx Cup. And we will announce our grand prize winner, 20 weeks at TaylorMade, a full set of TaylorMade golf clubs, through the bag, custom fit, and a trip for 2 to Casa de Campo. Grand prize over $10,000 for anyone following us on social media at Golf Talk Canada and anyone following TaylorMade Canada on social media on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks, Scully. Have a great week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And remember, first good decision on the golf course always starts in the closet.
This segment of GTC, presented by Picton Mahoney Asset Management, was brought to you by Adidas Golf and the all-new Tour 360 22. Tour 360 22 sits on the feet you wear last, serving as the foundation for the all-new Tour 360 fit, while the new direct-injected Spike-More traction system will help golfers stay locked in. Thank you for listening to GTC. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Golf Talk Canada. For show archives, podcasts, and all things GTC, visit golftalkcanada.com. And don't miss Golf Talk Canada Television weekly on the TSN Television Network.